What's up, everybody? We're back again. The Dad Bod Golf Pod. Got a little top button energy going. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. What's up? We got some teen spirit down in the bottom. What's up, Ben? What's up, Nate?
I'm still wearing my t-shirt from work from my classic hit station. I got a little Nirvana going on.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's for classic the record, hits now. Wow.
Yeah, that shows you how old we're getting, man. Dang. Like I started playing the other day. I started playing Counting Crows. I was like, I was listening to that in college. That's not classic hits. What are we doing? Yeah. So yeah, that's how old we're getting.
Just for the record, this is not the same shirt from yesterday. It has stripes on it. So
I know. I was just messing. I'm giving you a complex
stand
now.
Up. Let's make sure it's not two-tone.
Don't stand up. Don't stand up too far. Don't stand
I'm Anchorman today.
Anchorman today. All right.
Swannies and Fruit of Loom sponsors.
Haynes his way. All right.
Right out of the package.
Oh,
Goodness
gross.
Gracious. That is just so disgusting.
I'm going to put you on mute you got to put you in timeout for 5 minutes.
I hope you Lysol those first. Otherwise, those creepy crawlies from the factories are going to be all up in your stuff, man.
Nope.
Yeah, it's so embarrassing. Kyle and I apparently are the only ones that wash our underwear. I don't know.
Apparently in America, only people in America that when you get new underwear, you wash it first. Like that just kind of blows my mind. I thought we just all did that.
We disagree on the Open and British Open. We disagree on top button, but you know what? By golly, we wash our drawers. So you guys all leave us alone. All right.
Yeah, you guys wash your apples before you eat them.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dude, you got to get the wax off. That's gross.
Your college days have left you. No wonder you have a classic hit station with your college music.
Yeah, my college days are gone, bro. Thank God. Yeah. I'm just happy to be here.
There's a reason it's called Dad Bod Golf Pod. I know that you're not quite there yet, Nate, but
he's aspiring.
Yeah, Kyle and I have moved way on past that.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, don't put me in your boat all the way yet. Now, come on now. I'm not quite there.
By the way, I did wash my underwear in college too.
There you go. So it may seem like there's a feud going on here between us. It's not. We actually kind of like each other. Mm-hmm. But there's 2 guys right now on the tour that dislike each other quite a bit, and that's Bryson and Brooks Kepco. And we thought it would be fun. We were like, hey, what are some of the great golf rivalries or golf feuds? And we started bouncing ideas off each other. So I just jumped on Google and we pulled up the Golf Digest 13 of the greatest feuds in golf history. And we thought we'd walk through the list and see if this dude completely wasted his time, see if he has a good list, and just break it down and see if there should be others that we would have put on the list, kind of go through it, get a little controversial. Let's see what happens.
All right.
What you think? All right. So we're going to skip the first one. Number 13 was the PGA Tour versus the PGA of America. That's way too technical for us.
That's also way too new. That's too new. That's not. We're
gonna stay away from that. So number 12 was, I think you could probably take the second guy's name off the list and insert anybody. But
no, you can. It should be Ben Taylor. That's what it should say. Guy.
Yeah, Rory Sabatini versus Ben Crane, not Ben Taylor. Ben Crane. It's funny, Rory Sabatini, we can't stop talking about him now. He's the best Slovak golfer that's ever lived, and he takes home silver in the Olympics. I tried to get him back in the playoffs but he didn't quite make it. And now Now it even says in this thing, Rory could have an issue with pretty much anybody, but I think Ben and I talked about this a couple episodes back. We talked about the little, it's not really a feud. It was sort of like a incident between Rory Sabatini and Ben Crane, where Ben Crane's a slow player. They get on to after about 3 rounds, Rory had enough. And on the 17th hole, I believe, Ben Crane is in the middle of the fairway and Rory Sabatini is sort of like up by the green. He's waiting forever. Ben Crane hits into the green. Rory Sabatini chips, putts in, gets up and leaves and waits for him on the tee box.
Yes.
He just completely And a lot of people like Ben Crane, so that was kind of a blow up. But what do y'all think about Rory Sabatini versus Ben Crane? Is it worth being on this list? What do we think?
Like barely. It's basically 20 minutes of a feud that like I know Ben Crane was hugely known for slow play. It even says in the article, it makes a comment about how most of tour pros sided with Sabatini. Like that's how slow Ben Crane was. Like people were like, he maybe had a right to be frustrated. So
I side with the frustration. I don't side with his actions that followed it. Like he shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. The funniest thing to me was the name of this tournament. The Booz Allen Classic.
Yes.
Booz Allen. How about that? What if that's your name? That's awesome.
Just the fact that you'd be called Booze. That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's
Hey, Booze. Yeah.
What's up, Booze? Not to be confused with Boo. Totally
Boo.
different guy.
Who also does not like Sabatini. So
he does. Yeah.
I'm telling you, anybody could go. He's a
now that he's a Euro. Now that he's a Euro, he's a pansy.
Yep. He's a pansy. He's right there with Faldo. And Faldo, by the way, makes the list a little bit later on.
Yeah, so we'll get to pansies later.
We'll get to bigger pansies. We'll get to a bigger pansy feel here in a little bit.
Absolutely.
But Sabatini's had his issues with. I mean, Bubba Watson had the issue with him where he was walking while Bubba was hitting her. He was slamming his clubs down inside the bag when Bubba was hitting, and Bubba snapped on him where he was like, man, that's like 3 holes in a row. What are you doing? And of course, Sabatini looks at him like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And then a couple of tournaments ago, Jordan Spieth hits into the group in front of him. And he's like, oh my God, who was that up there? And it turns out it's Sabatini throwing his hands up like this. And, and Jordan's like, man, it could literally be anybody else on the tour. So it seems like Sabatini's kind of he likes to get in. He likes to rustle jimmies, it seems like. Or either he gets his jimmies rustled really easily.
He seems like he's got a temper like about the size of a broken tee. I mean,
absolutely
short.
You would
short
think
fuse.
You would think that
he would have. I told you guys. He's he and his first wife
struggle.
He and his first wife divorced, and then he's got married to this new younger lady. You thought he'd mellow out a little bit, but he, of course, like you said with Jordan, he still snapped the other day. So temper's still there.
So that was number 12. Number 11, this is another one. This was more one-sided, I feel like, but it was Patrick Reed versus Jordan Spieth.
Yeah.
And I think most of this centered around that, they played together in the Ryder Cup. They played together in the President's Cup, and they did really well. And Patrick is another guy who likes to pat himself on the back. He likes to call himself nicknames that other people give him. Stuff like that. And I think, he made some comments like, I carried the team, talking about Jordan and a bunch of other different things. And then Jordan finally is like, in the most recent Ryder Cup was like, I don't want to play with him anymore. I don't want to play with, but that was it. That was the end of it. Like Jordan never ever like lashed back out or made smart comments in return. So I don't know, kind of a weird one to be on there. I feel like it was a really quick and out type feud.
Yeah.
I would say a feud's got to have like 2 sides. And there's just Patrick Reed is an idiot. He says dumb things on a regular basis. That's what he's known for. Like nobody cares about his golf game. Nobody cares he's won the Masters because he says stupid stuff all the time. Patrick Reed running his mouth to Jordan Spieth is not a feud because Jordan Spieth is just classier and way more composed than he is. But anyway,
but if you'll notice when we go down this list, because I mean we've before we tell everybody who the whole list is, it's on one side of the feud just about every single time.
Yeah,
there's somebody that people hate. So it's like nobody likes. That's not a feud. That's more of they just suck. Like
polarizing figure.
Yeah.
It's like, who is the guy that people hate that got in a fight with him? It's like, you know what I mean? It's kind of silly. I didn't hear the part where, I don't remember the part where they were in a WGC event and Patrick Reed asked for a ruling or something like that. And he didn't get it. And he's like, I guess you got to be Jordan Spieth, to get a ruling out here.
I was watching that tournament. It got caught on a hot mic.
Yeah.
And why don't you say anybody's name, but the guy that you've been super successful with in the Ryder Cup?
Where does that come from?
And he said, and that's what he said it to like the crowd, and he was being funny, and they immediately like booed, like kind of under their breath. It wasn't super loud, but they were like, "That's uncalled for. Like you shouldn't have," because he said it to one, the official. Number two, he said it to the crowd, and then he kind of giggled a little bit when he said it. He said, "I guess you got to be Spieth in order to get some sort of ruling out here." And they were like, "No, bro, that's not cool. Like you shouldn't have done that." So maybe it's a one-sided feud because it sounds like Jordan just has zero time for him. He doesn't really care.
Oh, I don't think he likes him. I don't think he likes him at all. He's just not going to talk about it. He's not.
I don't know that anybody likes him. Like he's one of those that I've told you. He's kind of like Poulter. Like you want him on the Ryder Cup team because he wins, and and the Euros hate him like more than the Americans. Maybe that's why they want him on there. But as soon as the Ryder Cup's over, because they can be professional and they can be teammates when that happens. But as soon as it's over, it's like, okay, bro, you go your way. Like we're done with
you. Have y'all ever noticed the Golf Facts Twitter account? It's like Golf Facts or something, or Golf Info or something like that. And it's got a few numbers behind it. And like everybody knows it's Patrick Reed's wife. And she it's like a burner account. And she will, there's this cool head cover company that it's called Casey Head Covers. And they have a driver head cover that is that Twitter account. The Golf Facts Twitter account. It's Patrick Reed's wife.
Has she deleted it yet?
No, she's still doing it. She tweeted a while back. Like it's basically a burner account to defend Patrick Reed, and they jump in all these articles and things like that. And it's everybody knows who it is. It's like, well, just say just change it to Mrs. Patrick Reed. Like it's hilarious.
At this point, I mean, and you know, not to harp on Patrick, but you know, he stuck his foot in the dirt back when he was in college and he got caught stealing from other players and from their lockers at Georgia. And then he didn't even try to defend himself. I mean, or take that back. He defended himself instead of just owning up to it, saying, yeah, I did it. Like if he would have just owned up to it and been like, I did it, it would have been a whole different ball game. But, and then the whole Masters thing where he made sure the Masters officials would not let his family in the grounds, his own mom and dad.
That's tough.
Like, I got some issues with family members too, but if they're showing up to sport me at a golf tournament, I'm like, all right, we don't have to. A lot of people say that was his wife's thing. His wife's thing where she has an issue with his family, so it's kind of she hates his family. Yeah, she's psycho. I mean, there's some other ones out there. Lucas Glover.
Yeah. Lucas Glover.
Yeah, big time.
Hell, John Daly's wife like slashed him with a steak knife or something.
Which one?
Which one? He's got like three. One of them he got. I don't know if we covered this on the pod, but one of them they got arrested in the McDonald's in Auburn on South College Street after a golf tournament.
Yeah,
that he was playing in down here because they were screaming and yelling and pushing each other in their RV.
It's unreal.
Was that the one that sliced him, or was it the one after?
Who knows? He's just. I remember having like scars on his face, and they were talking about it, and it was pretty wild. Moving on.
To play golf.
Justine Reed.
Justine.
And the article that I see when I look her up is Patrick Reed met his wife after being ghosted by her sister.
That's awesome.
That's such
we'll dig into that more later.
The whole family.
Oh my God. I want a whole show. I want a whole show out of that article.
All right, you guys go ahead. Yeah. Bookmark that because that's like next week. That's our content. We're going to do research between now and then. And we're going to have a Patrick Reed show.
Yes. So I'm skipping number 10 because I don't know who either one of these guys are. So we're going to number 9. And this one's kind of along those same lines. It's kind of silly. It says Tom Watson versus Gary Player. And this was all over Watson accusing Gary Player of cheating in like a skins game.
That's like the shell world of golf, isn't it? Like
one of those wide world of golf things. But said that Watson contended that Player had improved his lie by moving some blades of grass before a chip shot. I don't know. I just don't see Tom being that way. But after it, maybe so. I don't know. Afterwards, I think Watson felt pretty dumb about it, and I think he kind of publicly apologized. So it was another short dust up.
Yeah, this isn't the first time that Player's been accused of cheating. You guys seen the open highlight where he was next to a building back when it was the British, and he improved his lie, and it was caught on camera.
I got to look that up.
Yes. Within the rules, though.
No, it was not. Like they were saying it was different. They were saying it was different back then just because of where he was, and they didn't even know that camera existed at the time. It wasn't part of the TV cameras. It was like footage that leaked out after the tournament, and it was pretty blatant. And you're sitting there going, "Oh man, this is Gary Player, and this is the British Open. Like, what in the world's going on?" So yeah,
I'll have to look that up.
They started showing a bunch of it after Reed. There he is again when he was right before the President's Cup last time. Remember when he cheated down in Bermuda when he moved the sand out from behind his ball? Same deal. Same deal happened with Player. And his excuse was when somebody asked him about it, he had to play the shot left-handed because it was against a building.
Right.
So he couldn't really control his club. So he didn't see that he hit this. He played a Reed. He was like, I didn't see it move. I didn't see that happen.
Yeah.
So
it's a tough look.
Yeah.
Did not know that about Gary. That hurts my heart because he's a stud.
He still does 1,000 sit-ups and push-ups a day, so he's good.
Yeah. Nate, that was pretty lame, huh? Why
is that make the list? It was a private conversation in a parking lot. They got caught by a rider, and like literally Tom Watts is like, "Hey, you shouldn't have done that." And Gary's like, "Well, I think it's within the rules." And then there was a journalist there. I mean, journalists just can ruin just about.
So that's
anything.
not a feud. That's an argument.
That's not. Yeah.
It's a
like,
one.
I wonder how many times those arguments happen in parking lots, and if there's no journalists around, then suddenly it doesn't make this list. So yeah, you didn't need 13. You could have left that one off.
Yep. Number 8, VJ versus Phil Mickelson. Did not know this was a thing. I did not know that there was a point in time where they didn't like each other, and I also did not know that apparently a lot of people had issues with Vijay Singh, or Vijay Singh had issues with a lot of people. Did not know that. He seemed kind of like a real quiet, nice guy. So that's kind of shocking. But did you read what I thought that was interesting? You know, this was at the over something that happened in the Masters, and Phil's recollection or talk to the media, it was very tame, but it sounds like they basically were just about yelling, ready to fight each other in the locker room over was it spike marks or something like that?
Spike marks on the green. He said he was leaving spike marks on the green, which that was in 2005. That was pre the rule where you can't tamp them down anymore.
Yeah. So pretty interesting.
These seem like scuffles. Like a feud is Bryson and Brooks have been, I know we're going to get to that one. They've been going on for several weeks now. Like this is like one incident and then I don't know.
And I think
they can't tweet at each other either. They can't tweet at each other.
Right.
Then they can't. So what could have materialized, social media now takes these type things to a completely different level. So, I don't know, kind of weird, but Ben, you got anything else on this one?
No, we talked about it pre-show. I mean, VJ, he's not like, I don't want to say not like, but he voices his opinion on certain things, and I think it rubs a lot of pros the wrong way. I don't know how much of a feud it was. He and Tiger, he had his caddy wore the hat that said Tiger who, which is odd about it. That's how focused Tiger is. Somebody had asked him about it, and I think a couple of years after that, he said, looking back on that, I'll tell y'all now, we honestly didn't even notice the hat till like the 6th or 7th hole, and Stevie's the one that noticed it, and that's how focused they were on their game. So it didn't really affect them at all. And that was during the year that Nate, you said it. I mean, everybody was after Tiger. So I don't think it's anything new, but that was one of the years that VJ and Tiger were going back or VJ was trying to get in that number 1 spot and Tiger was living in that number 1
Keeping
spot.
Him from it,
for a lot of years. So I don't know if that was even a feud as much as it probably was just trying to get under his skin because they didn't fight publicly. I mean, and again, this one with Phil seems more like a
one-time thing.
Well, and Phil didn't even hear it face to face. He said he overheard other players talking about it in the locker room and confronted him on it. So he didn't even hear it firsthand. So who knows what got said when the two got together. And VJ was probably like, no, I just said you should fix your spike marks, not that you were leaving them. I mean, everybody wore spikes at that time.
Right.
So, I mean, he wasn't the only one. Maybe Phil just wasn't fixing them.
Sure. Number 7, this is the first one that actually seems like a sustainable feud, was Sergio versus Nick Faldo. And I did not know that Nick Faldo, aka Pansy. I did not know that this was a thing, but apparently 2008 Ryder Cup, Nick Faldo was the captain, and there was a lot of talk about how terrible he was as a captain.
Yes.
But he made some remarks about Sergio basically going over, and he was no help in Kentucky, blah, 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 blah. And then I think several years later, when Sergio becomes the all-time leading points leader in the Ryder Cup, he's basically like, I've passed some of my heroes today and Nick Faldo after he held that record. And that was
Faldo called him useless.
Yeah, called him useless.
It's pretty tough.
What a pansy move. You think that at some point Sergio bent Faldo over a table and said, "Hey man, you shouldn't be saying the things that you're saying about me.
Shouldn't be saying that.
You shouldn't be calling me useless." Listen, I got a good demeanor on me, boy, but
yeah. I think I'm very useless my damn self.
Yeah.
I'm very useful my damn self. I've ruined it. I had it and I ruined it.
Hey, don't get me wrong.
Don't get me wrong, Kyle. We love you, but you got that one wrong.
Yeah, I did. Number 6, it was a feud over the square grooves versus V grooves. Not going to go through that one. Number 5 was Sevy versus the PGA Tour. Something I was not aware of. And
I was not either till you sent this list. And I was like,
so,
what?
But it's pretty interesting though, that Sevy gets the rule changed so that you can play 15 events on the PGA Tour. You had to play 15 events on the tour to keep your status. It's like Sevy lobbied to have that changed. And then, a couple of years later, he's like, this is way too many tournaments. I'm not doing this anymore. And so then the PGA basically like, well, fine, then you just can't come over here and play. And which is wild because it's like one of the top players in the world. And, they battled back and forth as far as I'm coming, I'm not coming, you can't come, this, that, and the other. So I feel like that's actually a pretty cool feud that I did not know about.
Yeah, because it was over a couple of years. He was expelled from the tour in '86.
Right. Yeah, basically just banned. Yeah. Which that's a huge move as a Super Bowl move. That'd be like saying Rory McIlroy, you cannot come play on the PGA Tour whatsoever. Like that's
there's like the flip-flop
US Open.
Yeah, there's like the flip-flop thing going on with Rory right now, I think, because Rory doesn't want to go play like there was a point in time where he didn't want to go play like the minimum amount of tour events on the European Tour to keep his European Tour status so he could do like Ryder Cups and things like that. But he's like, I come over here and, around the time of the Masters or the Players, I'm already like tons of points back in the FedEx Cup. So I'm just going to stay over here and play basically. So it's kind of like the flip flop. So that's actually a good one. Number 4 was Tiger Woods versus Sergio.
Hold on. Getting back to that though.
Yeah.
It was in 84 and 86. It's different than it is now. Sevy probably would have moved at that time. It said he got burnt out from going back and forth.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, let's call it what it is. Rory plays on the PGA Tour and lives in Florida because the money is here. It's not there.
Right.
So that was not the case in 84 and 86. I mean, you could make just as much money in a European Tour event as you could an American Tour event. I mean, it may have been maybe a few $1,000s off, but until, as they call it, until the Tiger effect took place in 95 and 96,
money was different.
And all the money went up to $1 million purse,
right.
or, $1 million to the winner with $3 and $4 million purses for the entire field. Like it was, you win $250,000 on a Euro Tour event, or you'd win $250,000 here. So Sevy wanted to play at home. And so I kind of get it, but I do find it ironic. Like you said, he pushed to make it 15. He played his 15 along with about 15 or 20 overseas. And it was like,
man, forget this.
Hey man, I screwed up. My bad. Let's go back to 9. Like that's totally my fault. And they're like, no, we're not doing that.
Yep. So number 4, Tiger Woods versus Sergio Garcia. I think this is a pretty good feud. It's pretty one-sided. I think Tiger may have lobbed some shots back, but most of it seems like Sergio jealousy. He had the remark about how, the tour is out here to cater to Tiger. And, he just made a lot of, young comments when he was young and dumb. I think the closest time he ever had to actually kind of beat Tiger was in the Players in 2013 or 15 or something like that. and he dunks it in the he dunks it in the water on 17 and chokes that one away. So I would say that's probably a decent feud to make the list, though, as far as both of the people, like a sustained time of them not liking each other.
Well, he made a quote unquote racist remark too at a European Tour Players Awards dinner, where he like that was between he and Fuzzy, they said things that they shouldn't have said. And
Yikes.
that will lead to more of a feud than you probably are hoping for between two individuals. So he clearly stuck his foot in his mouth more than once. So it is what it is. I wouldn't call it, like you said, I think it's more one-sided. I don't think he was ever on really Tiger's radar, except for maybe once or twice. And of course the Ryder Cup events he was, but other than that, I don't really think Tiger cares what Sergio's doing.
I think this is the closest thing we've had to Kepka and Bryson. Like Sergio is Bryson, Tiger is Kepka. Like Bryson is just so bothered by Tiger. He's just all up in his head. Kepka and Tiger didn't care. Like Tiger just trounced him over and over and over again.
Yeah.
I think Sergio made a comment when he ended up winning the Players. I don't know what year he ended up winning, but when he did win, like when in his winning speech, he's like, I'd like to thank Tiger for not being here. Like he had to acknowledge the fact that he won the Players because Tiger wasn't there. Yeah. And then I think when he won the Masters in 17, I don't think Tiger played in that one. That bothers him that his only major championship is a field that Tiger didn't have. So yeah, Sergio, Patrick Reed probably get along pretty well.
They're buds. Number 3, I think this is way too low on the list, but mostly this is just, I think, because of social media, but Brooks Koepka versus Bryson. We all know about that. We've talked about it 1,000 times. It's kind of getting old already. I feel like I'm kind of over it, especially for the
course.
Settle on the course.
Yeah,
move on.
I mean, it's, the whole get back to the spike mark thing. I think that was what started it all with the whole eye roll and it being so public and Golf Channel leaking that footage, which thank God that intern leaked that footage. Otherwise, we wouldn't know about all this taking place. Thank you, intern. I'm sorry you probably lost your position with the Golf Channel. We'll get you on and visit with you, Dadbod Golf Pod. You can email us, dadbodgolfpod@gmail.com. We'll also hook you up and you can get your 20% off if you go to Sweetrollz. Sweetrollzgolf.com and enter Dadbod20. We'll be more than happy so you can not only be an intern that now, since you're not working, you can go and you can practice putting. You can have your Sweetrollz with you as well. But thank goodness they released that footage because that's what made it fun. The eye roll and the cussing that Brooks did. And then, like you said, Nate, it got in Bryson's head where it bothered him, but Brooks had fun with it. He did the whole giving away the Michelob Ultra to people that got kicked out. He cut a special commercial from his patio promoting that. Yeah. I mean, he was smiling about it the whole time because, as he has said before, he doesn't even think about that when he gets between the ropes. He doesn't care about Bryson.
I think he's full of SHIT when he says that. I don't believe that for 1 minute. Ooh. I don't believe that for
We'll find out if they ever get head to head. We'll find out.
Yeah.
But
the last two on the list are kind of lame. It was Lee Trevino versus the Masters, which is basically just Lee Trevino didn't like Augusta. He didn't like the rules of Augusta, and he's loud.
Don't get me wrong.
I love Augusta, but
he didn't like a particular individual. Yeah, so it really wasn't even Augusta itself. He just he didn't like Cliff Roberts, who I guess was like the head guy there at the time.
Yep.
And apparently talked down to him. So he was like, I just won't play. That's fine.
Yep. And then number 1 was Paul Azinger versus Sevy, which that was kind of a couple of different things and kind of all boiled to come to a head at the Ryder Cup, the War by the Shore at Kiowa, where Sevy called them out and they were playing alternate shot, that they changed balls or something like that, which is
But Paul had called him. Paul wouldn't let him change balls when he had a scuff ball and a match play. You're supposed to be able to allow that, but you got to ask your partner. And you're talking about two hotheads. Zinger was a hothead when he was between the ropes. Sevy was a hothead when he was between the ropes.
Yep.
That's not a feud. That's two guys that I think hate each other when they're playing.
Sounds pretty much like a feud.
They hate each other when they're playing golf, and then I'm sure when they get in the players' locker room, they're probably having drinks one another. Azinger has said he can't control himself inside the ropes. He said I'm just fiery. I mean, he ain't no Jim Furyk, but he does say that he's fiery.
You remember that wrestling move?
Yeah, that triple X move.
Yeah.
I will forever have an image of Jim Furyk jumping up on a table every time I see him now.
After yanking the plug out. Yes.
That's amazing.
Unplugging the jukebox, jumping up on a table.
So one last thing before we go, what is y'all's thoughts on their no Tiger versus Phil? Nate, what do you think about that? No Tiger versus Phil on this list.
I don't know if you can call that a feud. I mean, there's no clear cut incidents. I think we could make a whole show, which we should, we will maybe, about the relationship between Tiger and Phil. It's such a weird, awkward. Phil's a little bit older. Tiger was always more successful. Phil was much more friendly, and Tiger was always more closed off. Just a lot of weird, cool matchup, I guess you might say. This list left something to be desired, though. In general, I'm not gonna lie. But Tiger and Phil, is that a feud? I don't think so.
Especially some of the ones that it was just one incident.
Too many.
One of the best incidents I ever saw was Miguel Angel Jimenez and Keegan Bradley. Remember that fight where Keegan Bradley said, "Why don't you get back over there and quit talking to my caddy?" Like that took place on the course, and then they said carry it over in the locker room because Jimenez was chirping at his caddy and then chirping at him, and then they stopped play. Like a PGA Tour official had to come out there.
There was also a Miguel Angel Cabrera, or is that who you're talking about? Because
I'm talking about Jimenez with the fuzzy part that does the warm ups where he does the knees.
The most interesting man in golf.
Yes, the most interesting man.
Big cigar. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there was another dust up, I believe, at the Masters, and it had to do with like Miguel Angel Cabrera, Miguel, whatever his name is, Angel Cabrera.
Angel Cabrera.
Yeah. He hollered at somebody, or got his caddy to holler at somebody for doing something that was aggravating him. It was definitely.
You think he thinks about that while he's in jail down in?
Yeah, now it doesn't even matter. Now he's just fighting. Now he's just trying to stay alive. What's a prison down there like in Argentina? Is it Argentina? Is that where he's from?
I don't even want to think about that.
Whatever National Geographic shows you've watched, that's probably a good representation.
Look, I don't mind telling you, I'm way too soft to be in one of those prisons. I can tell you right now, that's not me.
Ben, I hadn't met you in person, but I don't know if you last in Lee County detention center, brother.
Man, you might struggle in like just detention.
Period. I know.
So, But that was our list. That was the list. Golf Digest. It is what it is. It's a talking point. I didn't really like the list. I felt like there was too many one-offs. And there's probably some better over the history dust up. If we're just like an article of dust ups, we could have done a little bit better. But we'll see. But guys, we appreciate it again. It's this episode 25, a quarter, 1/4 of the way to 100. I almost stumbled up over the fractions on that one.
Quarter of a
century.
There you go. Yeah, I know.
There you go.
Now we understand where the scores are coming from, right, Nate?
There you go. Math
76. I mean, 60. No.
3/4 of the way to 100. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So y'all check us out on social media. Dadbod Golf Pod on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. Subscribe on our YouTube channel, man. We want to do a live chat. We want to do a live show where you guys get on and you talk about us having our top buttons button and things like that. And we can just live holler back at you. We got to get to 1,000 subscribers. So tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your aunt, tell your uncle, tell your cousins, jump on and subscribe and let's do this thing. Hey, Kyle,
we mentioned Sweetrollz. We can't forget about Swannies, swannies.co, Dadbod Golf Pod -25% off. Everything, including stuff already on sale. Just ask Nate.
I got a text today. They just restocked their September subscription box. You got to hurry. They got 50 of them. So nice. I got mine coming in September. It's going to be surprise time, surprise close time. I can't wait. So get on there. You can use your coupon code, take 25% off that box. And they throw a couple of different items and they got a cool sponsor. It's like a shag bag / shaving kit type company. Really cool looking deal. It's going to be in there too. Subscribe, rate, review. Leave us a review on the podcast app, Apple iTunes. We'll read it. If it's funny, we'll read it. If it's not funny, just give us a review. Helps us out on search rankings. We appreciate it. Y'all catch us tomorrow. We're probably the only daily golf podcast out there right now. We're going daily content every day, golf content, just like you would have with your boys on the weekends. So
and if there's something you want to hear about, let us know. I mean, we'll give you our take on it. It may be a trash take, but we'll give it to you.
Yeah, we'll throw it out there. There.
It'll probably be a trash take.
More than likely. Odds are. Well, hey, guys, we appreciate it. Check us out again tomorrow.
Dadbod Golf Pod.
Always stroking.